This is our hero, Noor, who we see working to clean the city. His job in the Adventurers Guild involves performing some ordinary tasks. Noor loves his job very much and works tirelessly. He possesses crazy physical strength and can lift enormous weights without getting tired, thanks to which the work in the city goes smoothly. While talking to a merchant, he sees a gleam coming from a nearby cave, and suddenly he hears a girl crying for help. Noor quickly runs towards the cave and finds a huge cow emitting a terrifying aura attempting to kill the girl. The story goes back in time to learn about our hero Noor's past. 15 years ago, Noor lived in the Kingdom of Clay in an ordinary house. Despite his young age, he did the household chores alone and prepared some medicine for his sick mother, who was bedridden and had no one but Noor to take care of her. He was happy with his life and loved doing hard work without getting tired. His mother warned him not to go beyond the rock that surrounded their house, and he assured her not to worry as he only went to hunt rabbits to make her soup. His poor mother was suffering from a serious illness, but she tried to hide her pain from her little Noor, telling him she was sorry she couldn't do anything for him, but wanted him to live the life he desired. Noor was greatly affected by his mother's words. At night, Noor returned from hunting and started preparing soup for his sick mother. When he finished, he was shocked to find that his mother had passed away. Sad about what had happened, Noor was left alone in this life after losing his father earlier and now his mother. Despite the harshness of life, he refused to give up and continued doing household chores alone tirelessly. He cleaned the house, read books, collected firewood, fished, and tended sheep. He did everything by himself, overcoming the harshness of life. While cleaning his room, he found an old book on the top shelf. This was the same book his father used to read stories from to him before bed. One of the stories his father told him was about an adventurer. Noor did not know what an adventurer was, so his father explained that an adventurer is someone who slays a giant dragon, learns magical spells from an ancient wizard, breaks a curse cast upon the forest, and obtains a healing elixir for all diseases from the King of Death. The adventurer does all this for his friends. Noor was greatly impressed by the work of the adventurer and became obsessed with the story of the legendary adventurer. Now, Noor reads the story of that adventurer alone and remembers his mother's advice to live the life he wants. Noor decided to pursue his dream and become an adventurer. So he woke up early in the morning, bid farewell to his parents and his village. He hesitated to cross the rock that protected their house, but eventually gathered his courage and left this magical barrier. He couldn't sleep that night due to the noise of the animals in the forest. He continued walking in the forest until he found a high place overlooking the royal capital. Noor hurried and was allowed to enter the royal capital easily. Noor was stunned by the city as it had a lot of trade, and anything he looked for he found in this market. While wandering around, he accidentally met a giant adventurer and admired him greatly, dreaming of becoming like him. He immediately went to register at the Adventurers Guild, but the receptionist kicked him out, saying that this place was not for children. Noor refused to leave the guild until he registered himself, and he told the receptionist that the guards at the gate had told him he could become an adventurer if he came here. The receptionist, not wanting to throw him out after learning he was an orphan, told him that in this case he must go to school to train in the various categories. He informed him that he was the only child allowed to train to become an adventurer and sent him to the Royal Training School. There, a person learns the category in which they will work. The receptionist told Noor that if he wanted to be an adventurer, he had to acquire some skills first, like swordsmanship or magic and such things. Noor took this advice to heart and immediately went to the Royal Training School. He wished to become a swordsman like the heroes in storybooks, who could fell a mountain-sized dragon with one strike. He began training in sword swinging, but despite months of training, he failed to acquire the skill of a swordsman. He was weak and had no skill in the sword, so the trainer ordered him to stop this training because he had no talent in this category. The only thing he mastered was dodging to avoid attacks. The trainer advised him to choose another category in which he might be talented. Noor's dreams of becoming an adventurer swordsman evaporated. He turned to train as a warrior and began rigorous training despite his young age. But after several months, the trainer of this category told him that he would never become a warrior no matter how hard he tried because he also lacked talent. Afterward, Noor tried the hunter class but failed once again. He also tried the thief class and failed his first test. Noor didn't give up and moved on to the mage class. Despite all the training he underwent at the school, the only thing he could manage was a tiny flame. The instructor of the class said to him, "For the first time in my life, I see someone so weak in magic like you." Every class Noor entered, he failed in, lacking any talent. Each time he was expelled from the royal training school, Noor would return sad to the receptionist, who was shocked after Noor spent 3 whole months training without acquiring a single talent. The receptionist told him, "I'm sorry, but I cannot allow you to register as an adventurer." Noor became even more determined to train and increase his strength. He made a wooden sword by himself to train with and began practicing dueling on his own. Noor only possessed the dodging skill from the swordsman class, so he concentrated his efforts on developing this ordinary skill. He trained morning, noon, and night tirelessly. Our hero does not know the meaning of giving up. After 1 year of training, his skill strength increased a bit, and he was able to dodge several swords at once. A smile returned to his face because he felt he was improving. After 3 years of intense training, Noor became strong and could dodge 100 swords at the same time. However, he did not acquire any new skills. Does Noor stop training? No. He continues training non-stop until he becomes an adventurer. He trained morning, evening, and night without rest until the handle of his wooden sword broke. Despite this, he did not stop, but decided to train even more intensely. After 4 years of intense training, Noor was able to unleash strong winds just by swinging the wooden sword and could now deflect thousands of wooden swords. Despite all the power he gained, he did not acquire any new skills. He spent 14 years training, and his body's genetics refused to evolve in terms of skills. Noor decided to make one last attempt to join the Adventurers Guild. He said goodbye to his village and returned to the royal capital. After many years, the receptionist at the Adventurers Guild had changed, and even she refused to register him because all his skills were very weak. She told him to train at the school to acquire some skills, but Noor told her he had already gone through all the training classes before. The receptionist was shocked by his weakness and did not allow him to register as an adventurer. Noor sat down to talk to another employee at the guild and told him that he had trained all this time without being able to acquire new skills. The employee told him, "There are different ranks of adventurers. Rank S is the highest, and rank A is the lowest. To register, even in the lowest rank, you need to have more than one useful skill, but poor Noor does not have that." Noor realized he had no other option but to give up. However, the employee told him there was another way to become an adventurer. Noor was overjoyed, and the employee said, "There is actually something lower than rank A, which is rank F, that nobody wants to register in." Noor didn't mind, and he was eager to register regardless. However, there were conditions to registering in this failed rank. He was prohibited from taking on any tasks that involved killing anything or going outside the city to gather elements. What he could do with this rank F was perform various tasks throughout the city only. The employee said, "Those who accept this rank become adventurers just to fulfill requests." But Noor didn't mind and asked to be registered immediately in this rank. All he cared about was becoming an adventurer, even if his rank was worthless. He did register in the guild and received his F-rank adventurer's license. Noor was very happy and finally able to live as he had dreamed. In his joy, he immediately started on tasks, using his physical strength to carry heavy loads for merchants in the city. In his spare time, he trained alone on sword swinging. Noor's life became full of activity after he became an adventurer, helping the townspeople. He played with the little children and trained in sword swinging, feeling very happy because he had achieved his dream of becoming a useful adventurer for the people. One day, Noor was performing a task of cleaning the sewers, as we saw in the beginning. When he heard the girl screaming for help, he ran towards the cave and found a huge cow that had bound the girl with its magic and wanted to eat her. The kingdom's knights tried to protect the girl, but the monster killed the strongest knight among them with a single blow, shocking Noor with the monster's strength. The monster continued killing anyone who tried to protect the girl until they were all dead, leaving only the girl, unable to move because of the magic. When the monster wanted to kill the girl, Noor intervened and hit the monster with a stone, distracting it and causing it to chase after Noor. Noor was weak and would die if he received even one hit from the monster, but he used his dodging skill and managed to deflect the monster's attack, throwing it away. However, the monster came back and attacked Noor with its axe, shattering part of Noor's sword. Noor continued using his dodging skill but realized that his sword would break soon. When the monster attacked the girl again, Noor used a feather step to reach the monster and successfully protected the girl, but his sword broke completely. Noor was ready to sacrifice his life to protect the girl, remembering his father's words that a true adventurer is one who raises his sword to protect the weak from evil. The monster attacked Noor again, and Noor blocked it with the remaining part of his sword. Thanks to the strength of his dodging skill, he managed to deflect the monster's axe until it rebounded and cut off the monster's head. The magic binding the girl dissipated, and she thanked Noor from the bottom of her heart and asked for his name, but he refused to tell her and left. Apparently the girl was a princess or something of the sort. Noor now realized his weakness and said to himself, "I can't believe that just a cow, not even a demon, posed such a great threat to me. I still have more training to do." Now, Princess Lynneburg is sad about the death of the knights who sacrificed their lives to protect them from a giant cow. She advises going to this prey and apologizing to her because she did not accompany her today. The princess says to her, "I originally wanted to take the inheritance tests alone. It is not your fault for what happened to me." And she apologizes to the knight Ness, who was worried about her. Also, Mr. Dalkin arrives and asks the princess to return to the castle now because Mr. Rain wants to talk to her. After returning, Reen's report arrives about what happened to his sister Lynn. It becomes clear that the legendary creature did not come out to the city, raising suspicions that there is a hidden hand involved. Mr. Dalkin informs him that the source of the creature's summoning is a ring they found on the merchant's corpse at the crime scene. After examining it by the kingdom's priest, it was found that the magical stone inside the ring is extremely rare and pure and had never been seen on the market before. Rain says that the threat level of that legendary creature is A, and even the wealthy in this city could not afford to contain such a creature. Therefore, Rain suspects that someone is plotting to eliminate his sister Lynn. Mr. Dalkin informs him that the ring originates from the magical empire of Yidis, with whom they have an old enmity. Rain says that their enemy's goal was not just to eliminate Prince Lin, but to exhaust their wealth by dragging them into a war, thereby collapsing the kingdom known for its vast wealth, which relies on Dungeon of the Lost. Then, Rain checks the data on the person who saved his sister, the princess, and finds that he defeated the legendary creature with just one strike using his ordinary sword. Even when they tried to search for him, he disappeared as if he were a ghost. Rain does not understand who this man is and why he disappeared after saving the princess. Meanwhile, our hero Noor returns the next morning to the Adventurers Guild. The guildmaster was worried about him and thought he had died in the incident involving the demon near the dungeon entrance last night. Noor claims he did not encounter that creature and pretends to be ignorant of what happened with the princess. To make his lie more convincing, he explains his absence last night by saying he was running away from a suspicious person who was following him and went straight home due to exhaustion. The guildmaster asks about the dirt on his face, and Noor lies again, saying he was cleaning the water sewers before coming there. The guildmaster believes him and says he is lucky not to have faced that demon, as even adventurers of rank A cannot withstand its power. The guildmaster gives him his pay for yesterday's work, and then offers him a job that pays 30% more. At that moment, a strange girl appears behind Noor, and it turns out to be Princess Lynn. The guildmaster is shocked to see the princess coming to find Noor. The princess tells Noor she found him using the remote sensing skill. Using this skill, Noor learned that the princess's job class is a thief. He was shocked that her job class encompassed all 6 skill systems, yet she saw that Noor surpassed her in strength after he defeated the mythical creature with one blow. People gathered around him since he was the one who defeated the demon. The guild leader pulled Noor aside and asked him what he did to attract the crowd, and Noor pretended he had done nothing. After that, Noor left with the princess, who used sound isolation and invisibility skills, so no one could hear their conversation, not even the kingdom's ghosts and guards searching for Noor, unable to find him as he walked past them. He didn't realize they were looking for him. The princess took him to an isolated place to thank him properly for saving her from that bull. She said, "You didn't just save my life. You did something equivalent to saving many lives in this country." He replied, "I think you're exaggerating. I'm just a beginner adventurer." The princess wanted to give him a gift to express her gratitude for his efforts in the incident, but Noor said, "Your thanks are enough. There's no need for a gift." She told him that her father wanted to thank him as well, but he refused anything offered to him, even if they wrote half the kingdom in his name. Our hero is not greedy and is content with his simple life. The princess began to cry because he refused any gift and said, "I won't move even 1 meter until you accept my gratitude." Noor remembered himself when he used to go to the sorcerer's house in this harsh weather, and like the princess refused to leave until the sorcerer trained him. So he agreed to the princess's gift, which was to meet the prince. The princess used invisibility and detection prevention so no one would follow them. They slowly reached the building, which is the castle where the princess lives. Because she used invisibility, Noor entered normally in front of the castle guards. He didn't know he was inside the king's palace and thought he was in the house of a wealthy person. On the way, they met the Night Eanes. The princess told her she wanted to meet her father, but he was busy talking to Rain. The knight asked who this man was, and the princess said, "He is the one who risked his life to save mine in that attack." Noor, not knowing this was a knight, thought she was a servant of this wealthy family. Night Eanes watched him closely and did not trust him. She took them towards the king's room, but on the way, the guard stopped them and prevented Noor from entering. Annis ordered him to move away immediately, because he was a guest of Lady Hamelin. But the guard continued to bully Noor. Even Night Eanes didn't trust him and asked the guard to leave, fearing that Noor might deceive them. Our poor hero was anxious and didn't understand what was happening. Meanwhile, Reen was talking to the king and told him that Dredas attacked the princess and didn't care about the peace treaty. Previously, the king had talked to Dredas, who asked him to hand over all the dungeon rights in exchange for granting him the military power of his empire. But the king refused his offer, so Dredas got angry and promised that the king would regret rejecting his tempting offer. The princess entered the king's room with our hero Noor, and the guards and the knight bowed in respect for the king. As he walked majestically, as if he were the king here, the fool didn't realize he was in front of the king. The princess introduced her father to her savior, Noor, who apologized for entering the palace in his shabby clothes. The king said to him, "Your appearance doesn't matter. What matters is that you saved my daughter from that mythical creature." And he shook his hand formally as if he were a partner in the kingdom. The king greatly valued his only daughter's life. Noor accepted the king's gratitude immediately without wasting time because he wanted to return home. But the king wasn't satisfied with just thanking him and said, "It's impossible to let the savior leave so simply without honoring him. He asked Noor what he wanted in return for what he did, and whatever he dreamed of, the king would provide immediately. But Noor refused and didn't want anything. "Brother, take the money and quit your job as a sewer cleaner, you dumb hero." However, the king proposes something bigger than money. He offers him the dungeon treasures. His kingdom has the strongest dungeon in the world, where the most precious treasures are hidden. The king offered him half of all the treasures they extracted from the dungeon. But our dumb hero refuses again, as he doesn't need expensive gifts. All he wants is for them to let him go back home. The king is puzzled by his behavior. It's the first time someone refuses dungeon treasures. He starts thinking of another gift to offer him, and finally decides to give him the legendary sword that the royal family has inherited since its inception. The king shows that the sword has no value to him, and says to Noor, "Your favor in saving my daughter is better than having it hanging here in the palace." When Noor held the sword, he was shocked by its amazing weight. The king says, "Since this sword has no value, I will accept it as a gift." The king asked him to wave it. When Noor did, an incredible force emerged, shocking everyone present. Despite its weight, Noor was able to wave it easily with just one hand. The king was impressed by his strength and asked him to train his daughter, the princess, and protect her from any lurking dangers. But Noor says to him, "Even if you are her father, you have no right to interfere in her affairs. She chooses what she wants to do by herself." He speaks rudely to the king as if he is his friend, and the king doesn't mind and shares the same idea. After Noor left the palace, he was happy to have a heavy sword useful for training. He feels that this sword will help him a lot as an adventurer. Its size is just right for displaying in water channels. Damn your stupidity, he got a legendary sword to clean the sewers from mud. At that moment, Knight Ines calls him and apologizes for her rudeness to him at the beginning. He says to her, "Who said I am angry with you?" Ines tells him that their job is to protect the Clay's family members from dangers, so she treated him harshly at first because he was an outsider. The dumb hero now understands that she is not a servant. She is a member and deputy leader of the Clay's family combat unit, and has been known since childhood as the Sacred Shield. Hence, she was honored to accompany Prince Lin, and tells Noor that she is ready to assist him whenever he wants, since he saved the prince during her absence. She warns him not to behave with the king as he did before. Noor is indifferent to everything she says. All he wants is for them to let him go back home. When the knight left him and departed, this guard appears to him, meaning Noor won't return home today. This guard challenges him to a duel for some time. Afterward, Noor went with Gilbert inside the castle, not knowing what this man wanted from him. All he wished for was to return home. Gilbert took him to a place where the kingdom's knights train, engaging in mock battles with each other. Noor had never had a training partner to help him in the past, so this was his chance to train with Gilbert, who ordered him to choose a wooden sword for training. Noor thought that training here was a golden opportunity for a budding adventurer like himself, so he eagerly faced Gilbert, not wanting to miss the chance to train with someone more skilled than him. The other onlookers were afraid that Noor might die since he was facing their leader, Gilbert. Without any preliminaries, Gilbert began attacking him with his spear. Despite Gilbert's precise movements, Noor dodged them easily, thinking that Gilbert was very slow, contrary to his reputation in the kingdom. Noor began to believe that Gilbert was going easy on him because he was a weak adventurer and did not want to show his true abilities. Noor boldly asked him not to hold back so much. Gilbert was surprised that Noor thought he was going easy on him, so he decided to increase his power and became much faster. Yet, Noor still dodged his attacks easily. Noor, in his foolishness, thought that Gilbert was tricking him to trap him. But in reality, Gilbert was attacking with all his might and couldn't understand why he couldn't hit him with his spear. Noor still believed that his opponent wasn't taking the fight seriously. Gilbert made a quick surprise attack, and when Noor jumped up, Gilbert took the opportunity to finish him off, but Noor moved gracefully and dodged even this sudden attack. Noor taunted Gilbert, telling him not to worry and to increase his speed, still believing that Gilbert was hiding his true power and going easy on him. At this point, Noor realized that he had become stronger than before. However, Gilbert deceived him with his secret technique and launched a magical spear at Noor, which seemed to be the end for him. But Gilbert was shocked when Noor disappeared from his spot and appeared behind him. Noor, afraid of Gilbert's reaction after having toyed with him, admitted defeat and left the castle immediately, returning home. He left all the onlookers in shock at what he had done, as it was the first time anyone had managed to evade Gilbert's secret technique. They couldn't believe that this novice adventurer had succeeded in doing so. Gilbert himself was stunned by his loss to Noor, and memories of the past came flooding back. His talent had emerged the moment he held the spear, and everyone started talking about his brute strength, as no one in the village could defeat him. He continued training, growing stronger, but after days he grew bored of the village, as he couldn't find anyone strong enough to challenge him in battle. Gilbert had defeated all the strong opponents in the royal capital and left in search of stronger foes. At that time, the village chief informed him that the kingdom was looking for strong soldiers to join them. The village chief advised him to return to the royal capital, where the strongest soldiers would gather to work for the kingdom. Indeed, Gilbert returned to the royal capital and started hunting demons. He joined the kingdom and defeated all the members of the regiment, but still wasn't satisfied with his desire for power. He continued killing demons, searching for an opponent who could defeat him. He became a gloomy person and would not feel happy until he found an opponent as strong as him. He became famous in the kingdom for being the undefeated fighter, earning the title of Spearmaster. Yet Gilbert remained gloomy, tired of all these losers. Even the strong knight Inez was not considered a worthy opponent to him. He wished there were more like his mentor, Gilbert. He said to his mentor, "I bet you too are tired of training soldiers and adventurers who barely match the strength of one of your subordinates." His mentor replied, "I only do this to protect the kingdom. I won't win a war alone, no matter how strong I am. One day, someone stronger than me will emerge." Gilbert now sees Noor as possibly the strong person he has been waiting for all these years. He still can't believe that Noor defeated the legendary creature alone. Noor doesn't seem to possess the strength to defeat such a monster. But when he faced Gilbert in a real fight, he realized Noor was incredibly powerful. When Gilbert attacked with his strongest technique, which is faster than light, Noor dodged it in a surprising manner that shocked Gilbert. For the first time, he felt the sensation of defeat. What shocked him even more was that Noor didn't care about the fight and humiliated him in front of his followers, smiling and saying, "I look forward to seeing you again." When Noor left, Gilbert was astonished to see cracks in the place where Noor had stood. Gilbert realized that Noor was incredibly powerful and became excited to improve his own strength and defeat him next time. Meanwhile, Noor returned to his village still unaware of his own strength. He still believed that Gilbert went easy on him and thought of himself as very weak. He returned to cleaning the sewers with his legendary sword and was pleased with the results. The sword even helped him quickly remove the tough mud stuck at the bottom. Noor then realized the greatness of this sword, as it did not get scratched even when he was rough with it. After that, Noor returned to the forest, determined to continue his mud-cleaning job efficiently. However, due to his bad luck, he had to stop his soil-moving job for a while, and could only work at the guild because of his F rank. This made him feel frustrated, as he would have days without anything to occupy his time. He thought he should use the sword to benefit people. Then he had a brilliant idea, to use it as a paddle or to cook pizza, or even as a barbecue skewer. Noor, the fool, had a legendary sword but didn't appreciate its value. The problem he faced now was that he had failed in magic and could only light the tip of his finger. This made him abandon the idea of using the sword as a skewer. At that time, The Princess Lynn came to him. She could locate people using her skill. She asked him to accept her as his assistant, meaning she wanted to become his student. All she wanted was to stay by his side always, but Noor refused. She pleaded with him to accept, saying she was very useful and had achieved top grades in the magic training school. Noor refused her request, saying he had nothing to teach her. She insisted and told him her family would pay him a professional teacher's salary. But Noor told her he didn't need that. She then said, "If so, use me to do whatever you want." Noor, knowing that her intentions were pure, thought about how she meant she could bring him legendary missions from the Adventurers Guild in her name. Yet, Noor still refused. The princess began to cry, trying to convince him of her strength. She performed the dance of ice columns on it, then destroyed them with Hell's Flame, one of the high-level magic skills she could use. Next, she used Mist Blade and cut down a giant tree, which left Noor stunned by her power. The princess didn't stop there. She also used the Celestial Slash skill, a sacred sword skill. Despite all this, Noor rejected her request again, seeing her as too strong and undeserving of someone as weak as him to be her teacher. He felt pathetic compared to her, but she kept pleading to join him and help him because she thought she was very weak compared to him. Noor didn't know how to convince this girl that she was weak and that he wasn't suitable as a teacher. So he decided to show her the truth and use the tiny flame in front of her. The princess was shocked by what she saw. She returned alone, saying that Noor was the talentless boy she had studied about in the training schools of the royal capital, and everyone thought he was just a fictional character. At the age of 12, he enrolled in the rigorous 6 training course at the royal schools and completed the curriculum for each one. The princess thought it was impossible for someone like him to exist, because even the bravest warriors would give up on the harsh training of the schools. But Noor did not give up, even though he was just a small boy. The princess didn't believe the story of this talentless boy until she saw Noor's power with her own eyes when he defeated the legendary creature. Moreover, Professor Oaken once showed her a very rare technique, the tiny flame, which the most powerful sorcerers in the kingdom could only master after many years. Even the princess had tried countless times to succeed in casting it perfectly but failed, not once making the flame grow even a little. It required years of training. But she was astonished when she saw the tiny flame cast by Noor. It surpassed the size of Oaken's flame, the greatest sorcerer in the world. He had cast an unparalleled tiny flame. Noor thought this skill was worthless, considering it just a beginner's skill, which shocked the princess when she realized his true power. She understood that all his skills in the 6 categories were unmatched, leaving her disheartened by her own weakness in comparison. She saw him fighting the legendary creature with a worn-out sword without worrying about his strength, persistently helping others. This is why Princess Lynn saw Noor as strong both physically and mentally, with the patience to live independently without relying on anyone. Thus, she began to see him as a role model, dreaming of becoming as strong as him, knowing that one day she would lead the kingdom alongside her brother. The royal family's motto is that the king's descendants must be strong. At night, when Noor returned to the village, Princess Lynn appeared before him. She considered him her teacher and would follow him wherever he went. Noor was shocked and couldn't understand why this powerful princess insisted on someone as weak as him to be her teacher. And with that, we reach the end of today's episode of this amazing story. The summary has received over 500 likes, so the next part will be released soon. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel in appreciation of my efforts. Goodbye.